Hello, my dear Taurus, and welcome. I am so excited to be here with you guys today. We're going to be focusing on this transit that's going on currently, and as we move into 2021 and set our goals and visions for what the world we want, what kind of world we want to live in, right? What kind of world we're leaving for our children. So, this is a very awakening time, and we are going to be seeing some very huge transitions. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see those with your reading. We're going to be following the medicine wheel spread, but I have made changes to it. I have adjusted it based upon how many cards I am bringing in. So you'll see some Celtic influence, some Native American, and even some Chinese influence here. But the original basis of my spread came from Sacred Path cards, which are these orange ones here. So a special thanks to Jamie Sams for that. So we're going to start with your past, what it is you're moving forward through, and we have here allies and support. It was in the reverse, but you'll see me a lot of times just move those back upright because not all of my decks have a reversal meaning, but it would just be the opposite of this, which is to say, perhaps you have not been calling upon your friends in your support system. Maybe you haven't been asking for assistance, or maybe you haven't been sharing your ideas or what it is that you're going through, because it's important to know who is there for you and who isn't. Okay, so the medicine bundle is this little satchel, which all of the things could be carried in that are beneficial for your growth, that's beneficial for your journey, if you will. So being mindful of what it is that you carry, and if it's other people's energies, or if you're carrying too much and you need to give it to someone else, to transmute that energy. So just being mindful of what it is that you carry. And this is your cognitive focus, what it is that your brain is focusing on. And we have here sacred space. So this is the medicine wheel that she's inside of right now. I do apologize because the frame is flipped, so it may be a little bit of a reversed meaning as far as where the positions are. But this is the concept of creating a space that's all your own. So it can be in your home. And of course, this is a little bit humorous, right? As we are, some of us in lockdown and doing this crazy year that we have had with 2020. So being mindful of what that means, having that boundary, and where does the boundary lose its significance because we dive too deep into putting those boundaries up, right? So are there walls up maybe? Here we have messages from the spirit realm, and this is a beautiful card of advancement. And eagle feather was earned through acts of heroic acts. There we go. And so when you have multiple feathers and enough to make a war bonnet, it's a huge deal because you've earned so many feathers that you are now able to wear them all. Okay, so this is about looking at how far you've come and celebrating yourself. And now we have your future projection, where you're going, and we have self-expression. So as I think there's some communication that's been needed, and for you to really go outward rather than inward, because I do feel like you've been diving deep, and this is indicated here. So maybe you're overthinking a little bit of self-expression as well, what to share and when, or am I going to share anything at all, right? Because the painted face, it wasn't just warriors that painted, it's everybody. So, some people would be the wise one, and some people would be, the medicine person, and some people would be the warrior, and some people would be the healer, right? So, where is that for you? What does that look like for you? And sometimes it can be that you're manifesting some tattoos or something to that nature, but you will know. So let's move to the center here, the very basis of the entire reading. And this is where we move into more of a Celtic energy. And we have joy here. And I have these standing stones. And there's something about standing stones that I just love. And we've got the water in the background. Everything is very fruitful. It's a springtime energy. So there's this aspect here of new beginnings, of starting anew, right? And the best, absolute most impactful you know, feeling, emotion, aura that we could put towards manifestation is this quiet anticipation of what's to come and feeling that blissful joy that, you know, there's something else coming, that there's a new breath of fresh air, right? So really focusing on that joy, on this new beginning that maybe the new year has to hold for you. Now we're going to move into the Lenormand, and this moves from left to right like a sentence. We have the lady upside down, the star, the snake, the clouds, and the fish. Interesting read. Okay, so the woman is reversed, so she might be looking backwards. Maybe there's a woman in your life that you're focusing on, or maybe this is you, or it could be this feminine aspect of yourself. But she's contemplating, she has a rose, so it's kind of like being given a gift. She's well dressed, she's in, you know, this gorgeous attire, but she is in reverse. So it could be that the feminine energy here is just a little bit off. Then we have the star, and what's interesting is on Christmas and on the 21st of December, Saturn and Jupiter are lining up perfectly to create a brighter star in the night sky, and it's going to look somewhat like this, where it's going to look like the Star of Bethlehem. And how interesting that it lands on Christmas and on this winter solstice. So a very, very interesting transit, and something that a lot of people are talking about. And this card and what it represents, and what the entire transit represents, or the conjunction, is to go where you're guided without fear of being misled, if you will. So this is about trusting yourself and about, you know, embracing your own North Star and what that means for you and following suit for that. And then we have the snake, but it is in reverse. Two meanings. I mean, one of them could be a slippery tongue, you know, uncomfortable conversations, but it also is transformation and shedding of an old skin in order to bring in the new. And I got new beginnings here, and the cloud is about new beginnings as well, because we're moving into better times, right? And, you know, the clouds are going to be lifted, and it leads you to the fish. And in Japanese and Chinese cultures, as well as in this Celtic deck, the fish represent abundance and plenty and prosperity. So the best thing for you to focus on right now is your career goals and where you are headed, understanding that you have the ability to create that to be a positive thing, to be something brand new. So let's move into the momentum. What is guiding? Oh my, we have some jumpers here. Okay. So we have creativity. This is one of my very favorite cards of all time, because she has these roots growing from her and she's backed up against a wall. And, you know, it's hard to see her face, but if you look, it's hard to tell if she's in peace or if she's giving up or if she's feeling good or if she's feeling bad. But the overall message of this card is sometimes when we're backed up against a wall, or as Amanda Francis would say, if we're backed up into it, onto a new edge or to a new edge, we are sort of forced to look past the struggle, look past where we are, and look into where we're going. So a very beautiful message here about, let's see, we put that here, about moving from, and look at all of the stones here. We've got a lot of standing stones. So you all might be some earth, you guys are the earth energy. So feeling in tune with earth might be very helpful for you, because this is you moving from your cognitive understanding of what it means to have those boundaries, that sacred space and that self-respect, to moving into, okay, well, where am I going? Where am I headed? And how and why am I guided that way? So creativity there. Then we have, oh my goodness, gorgeous. So let's focus here. This is the stag. He's a great ancestor, and in one arm he holds an axe, and on the other arm he holds a drum with the sacred tree on it. And this is the regulator of the forest. He is the overseer. He is the big boss. He is the one that says what should be cut down and what is to be revered and sacred. So you know, knowing where to trim your branches, knowing what is weighing heavy on you. So a lot of repeat messages here. What is it you're holding on to, and where it is that you're going. So a very, very beautiful reminder here to trust yourself and to trust the power that lies within you. Because to me, that's a very profound message there. Then we have the Queen of Arrows, which would traditionally be the Queen of Swords. And it's the swan. And the swan is all about a graceful demeanor. It's all about moving through the world, just flexibility, like in a flexible manner. There we go. And it reminds me a lot of gliding and just feeling free and not worrying. So I do feel that there has been a little bit of a worry here. We are doing some deep reflection, and sometimes that can feel a little bit too grounded, and sometimes it can feel a little bit like we're being anchored down. So let's bring the animals forward here. And we'll ask which animals are here to help direct our Taurus viewers. We have 4 Taurus. Okay, so which animals are going to be helping you move forward at this time? Okay, so we have the beaver and the lizard. Very cool. So the beaver is about building. So moving into the future, what is it we're looking towards? Thinking ahead, having that mindset based on future aspirations. And then the lizard is about dreaming. So the dream time and moving through realms. This sometimes reminds me of the Akashic Records because it's about journeying and it's about moving onward and seeing your spirit guides and understanding new heights and new perspectives of what spirituality really is. When I took the Akashic Records course, it took my abilities from like a 5 to a 10, and I did not know that I was only at a 5, right? It just like skyrocketed that ability. And I am a teacher of the Akashic Records, so if that interests you, do check out the links in the description box, and I'd love to have you. So I have to show you this because at the bottom of the deck here for the animals, we have the swan energy. So there's something going on with you all where you're feeling a little bit blindsided, perhaps. You're feeling a little bit unnerved because there's this need and call for this graceful, flexible understanding that you're very much in control. You have the ability to move through. And on the outside, from the outside looking in, you're just gracefully flowing, but underneath the water, your feet are just going crazy, like just paddling like nobody's business, right? And there's something very profound about that. And it's okay to have the want and the need to move quickly or to get to where you're going. And sometimes I think that you all are overthinking perhaps what that means. We're going to have the swan here because that's how you're moving forward into that self-expression, which is very lovely. So let's go into messages from the spirit realm and how you're going to be connecting. How are you going to connect forward? Oh my goodness, this is lovely. We have innocence here. We have this little infant coming through the third eye and the lotus of this feminine nature here. And we have innocence, and it says a trusting nature, original, let's see, I can only turn it and then there's a glare, so I apologize. Spontaneity, open-heartedness, simplicity, and expecting the unexpected. So very beautiful message there. And a lot to do with the head. We have the war bonnet here, which is the headdress of the Native American people. And then we have the lotus flower here, which is sometimes associated with the root chakra, but here I'm seeing it as the crown. And it's here to say that there's this abysmal, there's this potential for you to move forward and up and out. And I feel like you're being led here to do some journeying. Everything here, this is like a meditative pose. We have the clouds being lifted. We have the snake dropping the skin. We have the stars. So there's a lot of like this astral travel that you're sort of being led to. So let's move into what's being released right now? What is it that is sort of been suppressed up until this point? What is it that Taurus is struggling to release here? Okay, so you have a choice. And this reminds me a lot of, I think it's the ace, or I'm sorry, the eight. Maybe it's the Eight of Cups. I could be wrong, but this, it could be the World card too. This person here holding this globe or this crystal ball, and they're next to a staircase, and perhaps up at the top of the staircase is, you know, two options. Do I stay or do I go? You know, what is unfolding for me, and how might I be able to achieve what I want when the world is still moving, you know, regardless of if I'm ready? And, you know, I'm kind of feeling drawn towards that. Like, if you wait until you feel ready, you'll never be ready. So there's this course of action that's coming to you, and we have still this, like, this gentle observation. There's like this energy here of almost like nostalgia, or something that is just a little bit downward feeling, and it's totally understandable. So I have to share, on the bottom of this deck is Kindred Spirits, so that sort of solidifies what I was saying, which is feeling a little bit down, because source energy and universal energy is here to say, you know, bring that spirit back, bring that umph back in. So a very beautiful message there. Now we're going to go into what it is that you are being led to focus on. What is it that you should be focusing on in your cognitive ability? Opportunities. So again, with this beautiful purple blue light, I mean, I just love the color here, because it reminds me so much of that crown chakra, that astral projection, or like journeying, meditating. There's so much beyond the veil that's ready for you, and that is your opportunity, because we have the fish here, which is financial abundance. We have this gracious feeling here with the swan, and then we have this repeated with the dreaming lizard there, which is known to just get what he thinks about instantly, where we have this ability to get what we think about, but it takes a matter of time. So patience is in play here, and the opportunity and the trust and the belief is in play here. So this is asking you, what do you truly believe when it comes to building your future, when it comes to how far you've come? You know, how are you celebrating yourself, and how are you seeing the future play out? So now we'll move forward here to messages from the spirit realm, and moving into the future, what it is that you can prepare for, or what you can be expressing and moving through to get to your optimal future. Okay, so we have two cards that came together, and we have Metamorphosis and Gratitude. I love the Gratitude card, and it came out for Aries as well, and I have a feeling it will come out a lot. But there's a reason why people talk about the gratitude list in order to manifest. And the reason there is, gratitude is one of those feelings that is relatively similar to manifesting and the feeling of manifesting. When we are in tune and our manifestations are coming to us, and we have the optimal ground, the fertile ground for manifesting our dreams, the feeling is joy. Oh, interestingly enough, here you are. The feeling is this gentle anticipation for what's to come. It's like ordering that package in the mail and just feeling like, I'm so excited because it's coming to me. And somehow, some way, when we're on our metamorphosis journey, when we're moving forward into the new, we second guess, and we think too much, and we go so deep, and we think, you know, oh, my wings are so tattered and torn. You know, I've shed my skin so many times before. I am carrying weight that sometimes isn't even mine. I have this choice to release and to prosper, or to hang on and to sort of suffer. You know, and that's a little bit dark, but you are building to your dream state. And so in order to get there, in order to understand that, let me read these. Gratitude says, be grateful for abundance, live in appreciation for what you have, and more good things will come. And then we have this beautiful hummingbird here, and the hummingbirds are all about that joy and the sort of the rainbow, the beautiful translucence that comes with them. It's just magical. And then we have the butterfly, which is of course the same thing, very much transformation, but also about seeing the beauty. And that's something I love about the hummingbirds so much, is that their medicine and their meaning comes so much from the fact that they run around all day so fast and so speedy, and they just see these beautiful flowers, and they just see the nectar, and then they get to see the beauty, they get to taste the beauty, and everything is so sweet. And so it's made them this magical, mystical creature. And that's the same with the butterfly here, who says, trust the process and be patient. Becoming cannot be rushed. Change is what's beautiful. So embracing that change is happening, and to not be afraid of it, and instead to go, into meditation, into the Akashic realm, whatever it is that you want to call it, that transcendence, that beautiful understanding of what's to come, and that I have an ability to manifest those things, and to have an impact. I do feel like a lot of you may be running spiritual businesses, or pursuing some sort of an individualized, how do I want to say, individualized impact. I mean, it's just, you are manifesting for this purpose. I mean, this is what fuels you. So you are that leader, that guide, and you're just having a little bit of trouble with the turbulence here, because the swan, right? And the beaver as well. So this opportune moment to build and to connect and to go forward. So what we have here, which is where you're headed in the future, is to be still and allow the enemy to reveal itself. Very interesting. I know this is a little bit of a dark deck, but it's to say, if the enemy is within you, which, some of this is very self-reflective, but not to say that you're at odds with yourself, or that you have any kind of an enemy trying to hex you, but it's just about that stillness, to have that greater understanding, that more broad perspective, that, that control over who has power over you. And at the bottom of the deck here, which I don't always do bottoms, but this one called to me. Again, it's very dark, and there's kind of this this crown upon her head, and there's this snake. Maybe that's why I was drawn to do this, but there's a snake here, and that's a duplicate meaning. And it says, honor your mystical creative force. So you have a lot more power than you give yourself credit for, Taurus. And you have this beautiful grounded energy, and it's just feeling in turbulence right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no reason to fear that. And you're coming to better understand how you move through this turbulent life. And you're being called here to relax and to transform and to allow, right? So we talked a little bit about manifestation. The very last step in manifesting is allowing and being in that quiet state of joyful anticipation with no expectation, but the best. It's like the best expectation. I know what's coming to me because I am such a forward thinker, and I know it's coming to me, so therefore I relax. And you have this release moment. And that's what the center of your reading is all about, is this joy and this feeling that all things are coming, so I might as well just make music, right? And so I think that your intentions are so pure, and you have the graceful understanding here of the swan. So this is really just where you're headed and what it is that you are being called to focus on. And the beautiful thing is, you're being guaranteed a financial abundant outcome here. It's just about self-expression and being able to share with the world where you're going, what you're headed into. So if these things call to you, if you feel called to open that crown chakra and to go through some of this journeying, let me know. I'm going to put links in the description box for my Akashic Records course. Like I said, it's the most magical thing I have personally ever experienced. I became a teacher because it just is so close to my heart. So I'd love to have you there. I either have a Facebook group dedicated to it, or if you don't do that, Facebook. I know some people are straying away. I have the ability to send it to your email as well every week in an organized fashion, so that week 1 you get week 1 and it goes to 6 weeks. And so I'd love to have you. Let me know if that calls to you. I appreciate your time and your likes and subscribes, and I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful time. We'll see you.